they're detaining this, to Russia as they're detaining this Wall Street Journal reporter.
Let him go. It was in process.
That was Joe Biden's, you might say, underwhelming response after Russia detained Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich on spying charges. Evan is the first American reporter to be arrested on espionage charges in Russia since the Cold War. Polaris national security founder and former State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus joins us now. Morgan, thanks for being here. So an American reporter's been detained in Russia. Now, Russia doesn't believe in the free press, so are they accusing a journalist who's digging into what they're actually doing of being a spy, and what does that mean for his future?
That's exactly what they're doing. What's really sort of shocking about the Russian behavior here is they're acting like a terrorist group, right? As you know very well, Pete, terrorist groups will take hostages to negotiate for political purposes. And this is one of the reasons, by the way, Pete, you'll remember Brittany Griner.
Yep.
I was very critical of how the administration negotiated and the concessions that they gave to give up Brittany. And so what you're seeing, and we're always glad to have an American home, but unfortunately what you're seeing is this is how this thuggish regime behaves. Now they know that they have a new bargaining chip. They're gonna know how much we want a journalist back, and they'll use that to their favor. So when we talk about weak leadership at home, it sort of permeates everything around the world. And the Russian leadership, Putin knows that they've got a great bargaining chip now, and they're going to continue to take people as long as they can try and get something that they want from the United States.
You're exactly right about that. Morgan, I want to move real quick to another topic because the Heritage Foundation just released an important study. You were one of the folks involved in that study. Recommendations about how to minimize politicization in the military. It says eliminate DEI, improve readiness efforts. But one of the staggering figures from it is that 7 in 10 members of the military today have witnessed politicization in the military. You not only were a part of that report, you just came back from 3 months on active duty. Is this what we're seeing in our military today?
Yeah, so speaking for myself only and not for the Department of Defense, I will tell you, being a part of that report, Pete, and looking at the statistics, that number that you just mentioned, the 7 in 10 worried about or witnessing the politicization, what's really scary about that number is we are not meeting, by far, we are not meeting our recruitment and retention goals, especially in the Army. And what we saw in the report is that the number of people on active duty are thinking, you know what, I may not want my children to join the military. Now, why does that matter? Every industry has a recruiting base, and for the military, disproportionately, the number of people that decide to serve are people who saw it within their family, who saw their parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles serve. For me, I'm sure for you as well, Pete, it was a part of my family culture. Whenever I raised my hand and took the oath, I want my daughter to do it as well. But when you start to really demoralize the base of people who served on active duty or are currently serving and they don't want their children to join, that's a really, really scary thing for the military. And I think it just shows, Pete, that we need to be ready to fight real wars, not culture wars, right? We need to be worried about what happens, like, can the Chinese Communist Party, can they sink an American aircraft carrier if we get into a fight over Taiwan, for example? But instead, we're worrying about all these other initiatives that don't impact readiness. And in fact, they could actually hurt readiness.
You're exactly right. 2 findings from that report I want to highlight real quick, and then we got to go. From the Heritage Foundation, 41%, when asked what they were most concerned about, 41% of military members, reduction of physical fitness standards to promote equity. 41%, an emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not about readiness, it's about other things, and the military is seeing it, to your point. Morgan Ortagus, thank you so much, and thank you to the Heritage Foundation for doing it. You can check it out on their website. Morgan, thank you.
Thanks, Pete.